We are approaching a solemn anniversary this week, and it is an anniversary of a violent terrorist attack on the Capitol.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jazz Broganzo here. Another What's Next. Happy Friday. January 6th, yesterday, marked the one-year anniversary of the most heinous, evil, terroristic, violent attack in this country's history. Per the Vice President, Kamala Lay Down Harris herself, more deadly than Pearl Harbor, more deadly than 3,000 people who died 9/11, September 11th, 2001. More so than all the men and women that died during the Civil War, Vietnam, Korea. Name a situation, an incident that Americans were involved in this country's 240 plus year history. January 6th beats them all. Now, you expect that bullshit, and it is, from the left, because it's all about panic porn. Whether it's the COOF, whether it's vaccine mandates, whether it's mask mandates, whether it's lifting up Lord Farquaad, whether it's pretending that Joe Dementia's numbers are cratering, it's all about panic porn. But conservatives have been able to separate themselves from the nonsense. We saw it last year a number of times where you've had conservatives step up. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Cawthorn out of Carolina, Lauren Boebert, a number of representatives and senators, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz. He is one who's been able to step up and separate himself from the fray for the most part. But, yesterday he stepped in it royally. He rolls up on Tucker Carlson's show. I'm sorry. Last night, and it's good. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Ted Cruz backtracks on the claim January 6th was a violent terrorist attack during confrontation with Fox's Tucker Carlson, because of course it's Tucker.
So we played this tape for you last night. We were surprised by it. We prefaced it by saying every conservative appreciates Ted Cruz because he's one of the smartest and most articulate people in the Congress, and he's conservative. But he referred publicly to what happened on January 6th as what a violent terror attack. Here it is.
We are approaching a solemn anniversary this week, and it is an anniversary of a violent terrorist attack on the Capitol, where we saw the men and women of law enforcement demonstrate incredible courage, incredible bravery, risk their lives to defend the men and women who serve in this Capitol.
Senator Cruz was game enough to come on tonight. We appreciate that. He joins us now. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. So I guess there are a lot of dumb people in the Congress. You're not one of them. I think you're smarter than I am. And you never use words carelessly. And yet you called this a terror attack when by no definition was it a terror attack. That's a lie. You told that lie on purpose, and I'm wondering why you did.
Well, Tucker, thank you for having me on. When you aired your episode last night, I sent you a text shortly thereafter and said, listen, I'd like to go on because the way I phrased things yesterday, it was sloppy and it was frankly dumb. And
I don't buy that. Whoa. I don't buy that. Look, I've known you a long time, since before you went to the Senate. You were a Supreme Court contender. You take words as seriously as any man who's ever served in the Senate. And every word, you repeated that phrase. I do not believe that you used that accidentally. I just don't.
So, Tucker, as a result of my sloppy phrasing, it's caused a lot of people to misunderstand what I meant. Let me tell you what I meant to say.
No.
What I was referring
Ted,
to are
out of
the
context.
limited number of people
Really,
who
Ted?
engaged in violent attacks against police officers. Now, I think you and I both agree that if you assault a police officer, you should go to jail. That's who I was talking about. And the reason the phrasing was sloppy is I have talked dozens, if not hundreds of times. I've drawn a distinction. I wasn't saying that the thousands of peaceful protesters supporting Donald Trump are somehow terrorists. I wasn't saying the millions of patriots across the country supporting President Trump are terrorists, and that's what a lot of people have misunderstood that comment.
Wait a second, but wait, but hold on. What you just said doesn't make sense. So if somebody assaults a cop, he should be charged and go to jail. I couldn't agree more. We have said that for years. But that person's still not a terrorist. How many people have been charged with terrorism on January 6th? Like, why'd you use that word? You're playing into the other side's characterization that, as Joe Kent just explained, allows them to define an entire population as foreign combatants. And you know that. So why'd you do it?
Tucker's not playing.
The reason
The man's not playing. You can't cuck to tuck.
I have referred to people who violently assault police officers as terrorists. I've done so over and over and over again. If you look at all the assaults we've seen across the country, I've called that terrorism over and over again. That being said, Tucker, I agree with you. It was a mistake to say that yesterday, and the reason is what you just said, which is we've now had a year of Democrats in the media twisting words and trying to say that all of us are terrorists, trying to say you're a terrorist, I'm a terrorist. And so, look, I don't like people who assault cops, and I stand up and defend cops. And the reason I use that word is that's the word I've always used for people that violently attack cops. But in this context, I get why people were angry, because we've had a year of the corrupt corporate media and Democrats claiming anyone who objected to the election fraud. And by the way, remember what was happening during those protests?
Can I just ask, hold on, you work in the, I guess I just don't believe you. And I mean that with respect, because I have such respect for your acuity and your precision. And I've seen it on display. I've covered you as a reporter. I know how you speak. And you have sat there for a year and watched people use language to distort the events of that day.
My thoughts, quickly. And, yeah, it speaks for itself. I like Ted. I do. I like Ted. There are times I've watched him in the Senate where he was ballsy. And I mean, like, really ballsy. You know, Thor in Wakanda ballsy. But there are other times where I've seen him in the Senate where he would just, like, take a step back and allow things to unfold and not jump in and say, that's bullshit, and call it out for what it is. I believe Joe Kent. I did watch Tucker this morning, and Joe Kent spoke prior to Ted coming on that if you set the table up this way and you use these words and use these phrases, basically, like I said in the beginning of this video, panic porn, then you're going to get people upset. Fear. It's easy. But for Ted to use violent terrorist attack on a group of people, knuckleheads, I've been calling them knuckleheads since day one, except for a few. And when you're led by Chewbacca, and when you have video evidence of security at the Capitol building allowing those in, allowing them in freely, here you go, come on in, stay for a while. And then you have the so-called violence against the police where one dies of a heart attack, but of course he was killed by the rioters. And then you have an innocent woman, Ashley Babbitt, who was shot to death by a DC police officer who never was charged, but who has a questionable history regarding his firearms. Yeah, Ted. It's, dude, had you jumped on this the second this thing hit the fan, you knew it was going to be posted on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere. You should have jumped out in front of it immediately and Twittered out to everyone. The comments that I made that day, the other day, were dumb and sloppy, just like you said, just like you phrased. dumb and sloppy. You should have jumped out in front of it just at the beginning. But no, you sat back and you waited for the firestorm to hit. And it hit big time. And Tucker called you on it. And I'm a little disappointed, Ted. Just a little disappointed by those comments. You know, the whole out of context thing. I'm using that out of context thing. But, yeah, you were not going to be able to cut, cuck the tuck. Ted, nice try, buddy. Nice try. Tucker called you on the carpet on it. And there you go. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like it? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.